The Institute for Bird Populations has been working in partnership with park managers here at Yosemite as well as some other locations to assess the likely impacts of climate change on bird species that breed in the Sierra Nevada. Yosemite participates in a bird monitoring program called the Monitoring Avian Productivity and Survivorship Program. And this particular technique involves bird banding. We catch the birds in large nets that are held constantly in the same locations year after year. When we catch the birds, we fit them with uniquely numbered aluminum leg bands, and then we release the birds unharmed. Here at Yosemite, the map stations are some of the oldest ones in the country. They've been operating continuously for over 2 decades. And that long run of continuous data has given us an opportunity to learn a lot about how bird populations are responding to annual weather variation and climate change. We did a comprehensive evaluation of existing information for 168 bird species that breed in the Sierra Nevada. Of the 17 bird species that we identified as being at least moderately vulnerable to climate change, the majority of them fall into 2 main groups of species. One of those groups are birds that occupy subalpine and alpine habitats, and those include species like gray-crowned rosy finch, American pipit, and Clark's nutcracker. And we expect those high elevation habitats to really show some dramatic changes in the coming decades. And as higher temperatures and other environmental conditions move upslope on the mountain, those species that are already occupying the highest elevation habitats are really the ones that have nowhere else to go in the region. The other group of species that we're relatively concerned about are species that are dependent on aquatic habitats. And so species like American dipper and common merganser that really aren't even on anyone's radar as being species in need of a lot of conservation action right now, may be those that are most jeopardized by climate change in the region. Some of the species that we've identified as being vulnerable, including great gray owl and Swainson's thrush, are dependent on meadow or riparian ecosystems. I think that our findings are going to provide extra motivation for land managers who already know they need to be working on restoring meadow hydrology and other aspects of meadow habitat, now that they know that the species that occupy those meadows are particularly vulnerable in the coming decades. And so really that's what this work is about, is trying to anticipate those changes and head some of them off at the pass if there are places where we can make a difference through thoughtful land management or other kinds of actions.